I didn't get one of those messages. Yeah, we are live.
Cool.
Oopity doopity
We
doo.
did it.
Oh, there's my little thingamajiggy. To put it over here. Good morning. Do. It's the breakfast show.
It's the breakfast show.
It's the breakfast.
Why
Okay.
did it just bleep?
It's the breakfast show. Shh.
Don't tell anybody.
I know, I'm looking like a wild woman in the camera today. You know, it's like I
I'm
have.
feeling wild.
And one of my oracle cards, I got like this medicine woman thing card, and she's got like all wild, crazy hair. And I'm like, I swear, from a distance, my hair almost looks like it's in dreadlocks.
It does kind of.
I know, and I'm like, I like dreadlocks. I will not deny that. I hadn't seen my grandson for a while, and then I saw him, and he was like, Grandma, I had dreadlocks. I'm like, dang, dude, I'm not jealous. And they're all going, Mom, you cannot do dreadlocks. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I could.
You have to do the. I'd have to do the extensions to make it look right, because I'm afraid I would just look like I had matted, nasty hair.
Well, I'm sitting there thinking, as long as my hair is, it might be up to here when I get a dreadlocks, you know. So I was like, yeah.
One of my sisters had dreadlocks at the beginning of the year. I don't know if she still has them or not, but they were pretty wild looking.
I think they're cool.
They looked cool on her. They looked really cool on her.
Yeah, I was like, but you know, I sit back and I think of all of the growth, all of the things that we've experienced in 2020, and I was like, we were talking about, you know, a couple of weeks ago, oh, well, what was our favorite episode? And I'm like, I have no idea.
I don't either. I've been
I was like
thinking on that for a couple of weeks now, trying to figure out.
There's like episodes that I really liked and episodes that I really didn't like, or, you know, I thought, well, yeah, okay.
We usually have the really good ones, and when they're over right at the end, and then we stop it, and we're done, we're like, man, that was a really good one.
Really good one, yeah. But,
so it wasn't like fireworks or anything, but it was just, you know, good
Yeah.
conversation or whatever. So I mean, it was good. I think that one of my most awkward episodes was when we went to Red Rock Canyon and tried to do the breakfast show while hiking.
and we're all huffing and puffing.
Yeah, it's a great day. It's so pretty out here.
Some chunky monkeys out there trying to, you know, act like we're hiking. But no, actually my goal in 2021, and I think that I've done pretty decently this year, and I'm kind of curbing out some of my more negative habits. My 2021 is incorporating the positive habits.
Yeah.
As it was like, as I was releasing one negative thing, you know, a negative whatever, I was like, I'm just going to fill that space with peace because I have no clue of what I want to do. So, you know, but I was like, yeah, I think I am. I want to be more physically active
Yeah.
in 2021. That's my goal, you know, as in, you know, my body goal is to be more physically active. I don't care so much about losing weight. I want to be physically active, and I know that when I choose to be physically active, that my body will join in that alignment. So I don't focus on
Very
like,
true.
oh, I need to eliminate weight. You know, they say lose weight, and I'm like, you're going to find that. You'll find it. You'll lose it, and guess what? You find it.
You find it again.
You find it again and again and again. That thing won't go away. So
It just
eliminate. If you eliminate,
eliminates.
it goes away. It's kind of like,
Eliminate.
well,
I like that.
no. I was gonna, yeah, refer that to like elimination, as in bowel movements and urine. But you're constantly making those. So I'm like, no, not good.
We're
You
not
know,
gonna do that.
eliminate like a bowel movement. You know, but no, because those suckers come back.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Because more.
They do.
The more you do to your body, the more it. Okay, anyway.
Let's move
Let's leave
on.
that one alone. You know? It's like.
No pun intended. I was going to say let's move on, but no pun
No,
intended.
there's no pun intended about eliminating that from the conversation. Oh, we got somebody here.
Yeah, somebody walked in.
Oh, yeah, they're dangerous. It's very dangerous to walk in here when we're doing the breakfast show because we're more likely to put you on camera.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, wow.
What was that? What was
Oh,
that?
he was just making sure he was in the right place, and he's like playing with the doorbell. Somebody likes my doorbell. Ding, 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 ding. Hello? Well, hello. Come on in. We're on camera. We're live right now. Why does everybody say, oh no?
Yeah, I don't understand.
What is it? Are they afraid of being online
Just
with
got
me?
off work, so no.
Oh, and he's wearing a mask too. So he's like wearing a mask. He just got off work and he's wearing a mask. And he just waved to us, but he's not waving to you. He's not waving to you. Just put your hand in there. See, the camera's right there. See, there he is. So yeah, no, and it wasn't the water guy.
It's not the water guy like
It's
we
the
normally.
nurse guy. He came to check our Foley catheters.
Nice.
And our colostomy
Our
bags.
colostomy bags. So we were just talking about elimination. The reason why we were so shocked is because, no.
Wow.
That would be a difficult thing to be, because like, I knew, I've been in healthcare before, and there are people that have colostomy bags, and they really kind of look at it as an end of their intimacy. And I'm like, no, you can still be intimate even though you have a colostomy bag. And it was really kind of interesting because a lot of people totally, there were a couple that didn't lose that sound. They might have lost it for a little while, but they found it again. But many people that when they, a colostomy is a diversion for your bowel movements. So usually, like if you had something going on where you had cancer or a perforation, in your bowel, something like that, they'll put that diversion in so to allow your bowels to heal, your intestines to heal. Well, a lot of times people will get that colostomy and they take that energy or that vibration from that as that totally disconnects their vibration of being a sexual or intimate being. And I'm like, oh no, honey, you can get it on with that. I was like, oh no, definitely. I was like, there's all sorts of cute little things over at Victoria's Secret and Fredericks and whatever that, like I can't think of what they're called, but, a corset looking thing. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. You ladies know you guys know what I'm talking about. And still have that level of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, to me, instead of having a scarlet A, it's a scarlet C. And they're like, oh, hell, I don't, I'm a freak show or whatever. And that was what one of my clients had said. She thought she felt like a freak show. I was like, oh, honey, no, go get yourself a corset. And we're over here like looking in a magazine, for, sexy underwear stuff that would cover right where her, and I'm like, girl, you're going to get it on. She's like 30 years old. She's still, in that vibe, wants to connect and be intimate and, and they feel like, how the hell am I going to do that with this? And I'm like, hey, it happens. And then guys, men have their, that's, they look at themselves with, virility and strength and machoism and got a bag.
Right.
They don't look at that as sexy. And I'm like, dude, they're really cool shirts for you to put on. It's okay. We dig it. That's what I like about special books by Special Kids, SBSK, is that he'll show these couples that are, what are they called? It's kind of like, well, one doesn't have any kind of disability, inner disabled couples. And so it's like the wife or the husband, whoever, one of the spouses is, in homeostasis or in health, and has facilities working okay, and then the other one has some level of disability, and it's kind of like, well, do you guys get intimate? Yeah, we get intimate. And some of those things I'm like, I don't even want to think about that.
I don't want to talk about
because that's really weird, but That's interesting.
I have a sister with a TBI that she cannot legally sign documents or anything because she's not.
You can like go around if you want
Want
to
me to
sit
sit in
over
the chair?
there and you don't want to be
Yeah.
in front of the camera.
Come sit down, and you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way you can sit in the
That way
captain's
you-
chair. Just
Just
the
move my phone over to my
See,
desk. It'll be fine.
We do allow people to come in and hang out
Yeah,
with us
come
for a
hang out
little
with
while.
us. You could be our studio audience.
So when we point to you like this, you laugh.
Oh, wait a minute. Which laugh do you want? You want? How about that one?
That one sounds pretty good. So when we point to you, he laughs.
Yeah.
That's our studio audience. He just didn't realize that this was all going to go down like this. He thought, oh no, this is going to be something, like The View. No. I'm like,
They're too. They're
I
too.
can't do those shows.
No, they make me crazy.
I was like, I don't even. You know what I do listen to? It's 107.7. It's the Sports Animal or something like that.
Okay.
I freaking love that.
Really?
Yes. Because I'm like driving down the road. I know so much about NFL and I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I love
And I
it.
was like, so I'll periodically go in there and I'll listen to them for about a week. And then, I'll kind of go listen to something else, or I don't listen to anything at all. And then I'll go back and I'll listen to them again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I love these guys.
Yeah.
They never, their beat
They don't
doesn't.
skip a beat.
Not at all.
They're right on it. Right on it.
And and I was like, and if I had thought about this 20 years ago, I would have been listening to this 20 years ago, so that I would know what my sons were talking about.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
'cause they're really into sports. So
None of mine have been.
I was gonna say all of mine, but I only have two. And my grandson, he told me, he goes, Grandma, I'm gonna be playing basketball, and I went, sweet.
My older son did weightlifting a little bit, played a little bit of football, and played a little bit of baseball, but not very much at all. Maybe a year or so. But he was a geek.
No,
And I couldn't
was
speak
like-
his language as much as I tried. I could not speak his language. I still cannot speak his language. So I would a lot of times ask him, okay, so what project are you working on? He's like, well, I want to build this trebuchet that shoots stuff 600 feet and I'm like, okay, what do you need?
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah. No, actually, I was pretty fortunate. My daughter was on the swim team. She played volleyball in junior high. I want to say she played basketball, but I don't think so. I don't remember. Isn't it hateful? I don't remember if my daughter played basketball. I know that she played volleyball.
She probably played basketball in PE at least.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
But she was on the swim team, and
Everybody's done
Yeah.
and I thought that was pretty cool that she
Yeah,
was on the
it's
swim team. She did. She played the swim team. She did the little graduation speech, and then and then my sons, they played football. And then Michael wrestled, and it was his first year of wrestling, and he'd never wrestled before, and he took state.
Wow. So my Daniel, my youngest son, did gymnastics for 8 years. So I'm very well versed in gymnastics because I coached to pay for it because it was.
Yeah, all it is
Lots of
flipping
money.
around. I don't understand it.
Well, there's a lot to it actually because you have to know how to, when you're coaching, you have to know how to condition the athletes
Mhm.
to be able to do all those tricks that they do. So you have to know what muscle groups they're using and how they're using them. So it's very interesting. But he, in gymnastics, you compete in different organizations. And so he went from the Amateur Athletics Union to going to USAG, which USAG is the Olympic track.
Oh, wow.
And so when he started, everybody said, oh, he'll never hang, and we're like, oh, watch him. And sure enough, he took states, and then he took regions out of 5 states.
Oh, that's really
So he
wickedly
was
cool.
he was very talented. So he was the regional floor champion, and he placed 3rd on the all.
So why did he stop?
I don't know.
And
I don't know. He just decided he was done. He was working out 6 days a week, 3 hours a day.
It's only 18 hours a week.
Right, and
That's a part-time job.
He was just like, I'm just done.
Maybe it was I don't know.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they just, because he was hell bent. He was going to OU. He was going to compete for OU. He had his sights set on the 2026 Olympics, I mean, was really,
Okay.
and then he just,
And then I just had like this flash in my head. And I remember the guy that's in prison, the physician in prison for molesting all of the gymnasts in
Mhm.
the U.S. Olympic team. And I was like, that would have been my first reason of why I'm not going. Sorry, I'm cool with that.
yeah, he just decided he was done. Gymnastics is hard on the body too.
It is, you know,
It's
and
really
it's,
hard on the body.
oh yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
I mean, I cannot tell you how much money we spent in Epsom salts.
You know, Nadia Comaneci and
That's who he worked out with. Well, he
Okay.
didn't work out with Nadia, but that's where he was competing
Okay.
was at Bart Connor.
Yep, that I was gonna say. I
Okay.
can't remember her husband's name.
Bart Connor.
I remember her name because it was like her name was like gold in my house. My mom was really into the Olympics
Mhm.
and was totally into the gymnastics part.
Yeah.
And she could tell you the gymnasts, what they ranked, what year, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And Olga Corbett and Nadia Comaneci were just like my mom thought they were like.
Yeah. And she is the most lovely lady. We were at a gym meet. It was before he was competing with Bart Connor. Jessica, I had a daughter that also did gymnastics, but she and I coached together, and we coached the little tiny girls that did competitive gymnastics.
Mhm.
And when you go to gym meets, they're kind of uppity. It's kind of weird. It was like out of my comfort zone. They have
Yeah.
what they
All
call
events are
Yeah.
like that. Thank
so
you.
they have what at gymnastics meets they have what they call the hospitality room, and the only people allowed in the hospitality room are the coaches.
Okay.
It's only for the coaches. Most of them have it. They'll bring decorations in and balloons, and it's beautiful, and have this like huge spread of food, and it's crazy. And so Jessica and I were sitting in the hospitality room eating lunch, and this beautiful woman walks in, all dressed up and hair done and makeup. Did not recognize her at all. And she comes over and sits down and just starts being chatty with us for like 5 minutes. So sweet, so kind.
And then
And she gets up and she goes, okay, well, I need to go take care of some stuff. And she gets up and leaves. And this other coach walks in as she's leaving, and she says hi again to her, stops and talks to her. And the coach walks by us, and she goes, Nadia's so cool. And we're like, oh my gosh, we just started talking to Nadia. We didn't even know.
I was
So pretty.
not in her everyday outfit where she's
Yeah.
got her hair back in a ponytail and a bodysuit on. Shit, you know.
I know,
Like,
yeah.
who is that in clothes?
And they're awesome. I'm going to tell you, if anybody has kids that want to go to Bart Connor, that's the place to go. The grips that they have to wear on their hands.
Mhm.
What we were doing. It seems like we were at a camp up here because we were living down south at the time. And Daniel needed the coach that he was working with at that camp says he needs grips. You need to go get him grips for the bars. And I'm like, okay, so where do I go get them? I don't know where to go buy grips in town, you know. And so they were like, oh, go over to Bart Connor's. They sell them over there. And I'm like, they do? Okay. So I went over to Bart Connor's. Well, there's two buildings. There's the gym, and then there's another building. Bart and Nadia actually bring in old gymnasts from other countries to coach. Like Olympic gymnasts, and they bring in people from other countries that need jobs to make leotards and stuff, and so they have a whole like a sweatshop almost. So not really, that's not nice. A workshop.
Workshop.
It was very nice. It was.
We're alive.
Right? They have this really nice. It's actually a really nice workshop with really workshop with fancy sewing machines, and the ladies nobody was working that day because it was a Saturday, but
So they do let him have a day off.
that was one of the guys that helps run the whole thing, and I had heard that he was
That's what it's.
sweatshop.
They were sweating in the
The
workshop.
workshop, yeah. And he opens up the building and lets us in and takes us to the back, and
Just for a
Fits
stupid pair
your
of grips.
grips. It was amazing. They were
Yeah.
awesome.
In
So
the workshop.
in the workshop.
In the workshop.
I'm sorry, that wasn't nice.
And I'm over here going, are
It
they
was a
legal
workshop.
aliens or the illegal
Oh, I'm
aliens?
sure they're
We're
legal.
gonna piss somebody off, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure they were all legal. They help, like, I think what they are, like, former gymnasts that can't get anywhere in their own country,
Mm-hmm.
and so they help them come over to the United States and help them get on their feet. And
Because we are a land of
And work.
opportunity.
That's
I
right.
mean, and
That's
that
right,
is
yeah.
true. We are a land of opportunity.
so there's some fabulous coaches over there that have had some amazing experiences coaching and things. So 2020.
Do you remember these?
Remember these at the first of the year?
Yeah.
There it is.
Goodbye to you. I think there was a song by Patti Smythe back in the day. Goodbye to you. I should have pulled that song up and played it for you in the very beginning, because I'm going to say goodbye to 2020.
So how about Carrie Underwood's "I Want to Undo It"?
Oh yeah.
I heard that one this morning.
But here's the thing: if we undo
Do it,
2020,
then we have to redo it.
thank you. And I'm like,
No, we're not gonna do it.
I just want to chalk this up to a lesson learned.
There you go. So I've been seeing people post on Facebook and talk about, 2020 has been tough, but what have been your takeaways? What's been the good things that have happened in 2020?
Good things that there's actually a lot of good things that happened in 2020. And I was like, had posted something about the things that I learned. And I'm like looking over here at, and I'm like, I learned how to grow cannabis really well. Really well.
We're live. No.
I know. Hey, I don't care. I grow cannabis.
In a workshop.
In a workshop. Not a sweatshop, but,
That's terrible.
I learned how to make some cannabis products. I learned, so it was like, I learned a lot of things that will enhance me for what I'm doing in the future. And then it also helped me start transitioning from being totally in person with my sessions and my work to where some of it can go virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with that. I believe that 2020 helped to define everyone on who they are, what their beliefs are, and what they
Agreed.
will stand their ground on.
Yeah, agreed.
And then I think that 2020 also shined a light on who's your tribe.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because I was like, as if we're still connected or we've reconnected
Mhm.
at the end of 2020, we're obviously of a similar vibe,
right.
or have some kind of connection
Yeah.
going on, that we're the same kind of, I'm gonna say, okay, we're the same damn tribe, we don't have to be the
There
same
you go.
family, but we're
We're
in the same spiritual tribe.
Yeah,
And it was like,
that's a thing.
and I will say I have no regrets
Mm-hmm.
of those that were no longer together, or either not friends, or they're not my client, or I'm not their healer, or, I'm not a family member, or whatever, I have no regrets on that. The thing that 2020 taught me was that nothing is forever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is forever. It is in constant evolution. You either evolve with or you evolve away from.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's not good or bad or anything at all. You either have happy memories or you have crappy memories. I don't, not that I don't care, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It's all about your perspective of it. But I was like, so
That's-
if
yeah.
I sat down and I had a piece of paper of everybody who's in my spiritual tribe, or that we still have that a spiritual or connection, energetic connection, I will say that those that are in my life currently,
Mm-hmm.
my intimate personal life, my professional life, my global, going on and on like that, we are of the same tribe.
Right.
We are in some degree of harmony, and we're cool. those that I have been in disharmony with, or those that have been in disharmony with me, we are no longer.
Right.
We're just not connected. I mean, and it's kind of like, I don't see their stuff on the internet. They don't, I don't know
Yeah,
if they
it's
see my stuff.
Yeah, it's
But
just,
I'm like, I'm cool with
it's
that.
just like we walked out of that room and flipped that light switch off.
Yeah, it's like that
Yeah.
chapter's over.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that was the first book. We're on the second book now.
Yeah.
That character died. They ran
Whatever
off,
it is.
Shit,
So
we don't know. They're MIA.
I've seen a lot of stuff about, well, what did you learn? What'd you learn? What'd you learn? And it's been a hell of a year for our family. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
a hell of a year. And so when I go back and look, and I'm listing off all this stuff that happened that's all kind of negative, but it's like, what did I learn from it? Okay, so now we're starting over. Now we're, we've renewed. Financially, we're starting over. Emotionally, we've actually had a restart. I mean, there's been a lot of
Exactly.
And there's been I feel like my adult children this year have become more independent, not as in withdrawn, but as in not calling every minute. I need
What do I do to boil
Yeah.
water?
That kind of stuff. But so mom and daddy haven't been able to bail them out because financially we haven't been able to, and so there's that. So I've seen our family grow through the year, but it's taken actually sitting down and really thinking about it to gather those, because I think so many times we get caught. Okay, well, we did this year and this happened and John was in the hospital and Susie broke her leg and you go down the list of all the horrible stuff that happened, but
I'm like, what about all the cool stuff that happened?
Take a minute and think about those. What were the lessons learned? What did you come away with all of that? So
I learned how to better express emotions through art.
that's a good one.
So that's part of
That's
part of our 2021 vision is helping people express themselves in more appropriate manners, or
Yes,
in a
that's right.
in a different manner, so that you're not owning and holding on to all of that shish.
Yeah. So one of the things that, and you say express emotion, I like the way you put that, because I was wording it more like I have learned to create to alleviate stress and frustration.
Mm-hmm.
So using creativity as therapy rather than just.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like it's more now. It's more of I want to as opposed to I have to.
Right.
Because if it's like I wake up, or if it's in the mid-afternoon or evening time and I'm sitting here thinking about whatever, maybe I watched too much news and all I'm thinking is like, oh my God, I'm going to do this, and that. I could really touch that person in a violent way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get up and I go, I got to go fucking paint, excuse my French. and they'll look at me like, what did she just say?
Oh my
And then I come out and I'm like, oh my God,
it's nothing.
it's not. I was like, check out this art I did.
Well, my husband got home from work yesterday, and I've been. I just like to call it kitchen witching.
Kitchen witching. Oh yeah, I love kitchen witching.
So I've been making all kinds of stuff in the kitchen, lotion bars and whatever. And so I had essential oils spread out everywhere. There is citric acid and baking soda all over my dining room table still. I've got jars and bottles and boxes, and my husband's all like, how are we supposed to make dinner?
We don't, baby. It's pizza night.
One of the kids goes, we really need to clean up the garage so that we can set up a crafting area for Mama.
Okay, all right. So at least in your house you had the essential oils. I did. I made soaps for my little works kits, the spiritual works kits. I started making soap, so my house smelled like cocoa, and it was just like if one part of the kitchen, you'd stand there and you could wickedly smell it, and you're like, What the heck? And I'm like, it's just my essential oil mixes that I was making my soaps with. It's okay. You know, so then the next day I have cement stuff on half the kitchen table, all of the supplies on the other side.
Oh,
And by
wow.
the way, the cement stuff looked horrible. I'm like, what the hell? I actually had this dude from like Pakistan reach out and he said, honey, you put too much water in that. I went,
Really?
oh. I'm like, it took a dude from Pakistan to tell me that.
Your
What the hell?
Pakistani boyfriends are useful for something.
And I'm like, but you know what?
Concrete bar.
My husband is a concrete specialist. Okay, this man makes shit out of concrete.
And he couldn't help you?
And never bothered to tell me. So
He was probably, I could picture him sitting over there going,
I belittle her because she does that shit to me. No, he would come in and he would work here, and he said, I quit, and I'm like,
what?
what the hell? I'm the best boss in the world, you know. Who else gets to snag on his boss, right? You know? And he looks at me and he goes, you are a bitch to work for. Now, he didn't say I was a bitch. He said I was a bitch to work for. Big difference, okay? Big difference.
Oh my God.
So, he said, he told me I micromanage. And I'm like, dude, how do I micromanage when you're in a damn healing session on the other side? No, when we do those foot detoxes, you are micromanaging me, and I will not tolerate that. So I felt like the cement thing was paybacks. He was like, I just want to see her belittle her ass. Maybe she'll tape it for YouTube. You know, I'm sure he was over there going, YouTube. Babe, you ought to do that for YouTube. Just to see me fail. Look at me, I'm crossing my arms over here.
Like,
My body
like
language
you
is,
just see him.
I'm like, mother
I could-
trucker, you are in trouble when I get home. No.
I could see him just sitting back and just going, yeah.
No, he never, I'm telling you,
Doing good.
his voice, no, he didn't do that. Aaron's like doing this. He was like, those are interesting.
Listening. Good
Don't-
job, babe.
Don't touch them. And I kept playing with them, and he was like, they're gonna fall apart if you keep playing with it. And I'm like, no, they won't. You know, and then I'm like, hey, they fell apart. And he was like, I told you so. And then there was one piece, he said it was still green when I pulled it. So when we were pulling it, it like all fell apart. And he goes, I think that was still green. And I'm like, what does that mean? You know, like, it said 24 hours. So I decided that right now, Plaster of Paris is my gig when it
I
comes
love
to
plaster
that.
of Paris. I love doing
I can
plaster
do
of Paris.
that. And I played around with it last night to see if I liked it better thicker, or I like it better thinner, you know, whatever. But I'm going to continue working with semen because I've got a whole bag of that stuff. So I got to do something.
Because it's go big or go home.
Mhm.
And so
She
she
don't
went.
make little bags like that at Home Depot.
So she bought the 200-pound bag.
No, it wasn't the 200, it was the 50-pound bag. But I did buy.
Ooh.
So we're making stepping stones.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I'll be doing with that.
Fun.
But I was like, if you had told me a year ago that I was going to be, you know, up to my elbows in paint, dirt, cement, plaster of Paris, soap base, lye, you know, L-Y-E, not L-I-E, dog. You know, I would have gone, I'm going to start getting my nails done, you know, and getting the pedicure, and you'll never see my ass dirty, you know, and then now I'm like, I come in, and usually it's like ponytails here and there, and paint in it, or I forgot to put my hair in a ponytail and I have paint and glue and stuff on the end stuff of my hair. Yeah, so like I love.
My husband has just learned that when I get into my creating mode, whether it's cooking dinner or whatever, that he just walks behind me and cleans up as I go because I'm like a tornado on a mission.
Oh yeah. I wish I had somebody that would just clean up.
He'll walk up behind me and like get stuff out of my hair. He goes, "How do you get flour on the back of your head?"
Yeah.
I don't
Stuck
know.
my head in the bag.
Don't know.
I had to check and see
I
how much
have
was
no
in
idea.
there. But you know, I like dig this. By the way, I'm working on a cannabis cookbook.
Oh yay!
Yes, I've been
That's
cooking
fun.
with cannabis.
Hmm.
You know, people are like,
So they're going,
"Ooh," and I'm like, honey.
Mmm.
They were like, why are you cooking with so much cannabis? And I was like, because I have a whole bunch. I don't even think. You know, you don't go on vacation, you do a staycation. So I said, well, I want to feel like I'm in the forest, so I planted a forest. Okay?
Of the same plant.
It was all of the same. It was different strains.
But they're all crossed now anyway because they were all planted right next to each other.
So they're all happy.
So they're all the same strain now.
Okay, don't be talking shit about my plants.
They're all hybrid.
In the future, I will do them indoors where they're not cross-pollinating. Because I was like, this plant isn't supposed to have any seeds on it. And it has seeds, bitch, you know. So I was like, well, what seeds are those? I don't know.
And it has eyes.
I don't know. I don't know what plant it is anymore. It's feel good, feel bad, whatever, you know. You're feeling good, use this one. You're feeling bad, use that one, you know. There is one I do have, they call it the Zen plant, and it makes me really angry.
Really?
Yes, and I'm like, what the hell? This is supposed to make me feel zen. It's a sativa, so it's supposed to, you know, be uplifting, take care of your body pain, but be uplifting, you know, so it's like your Prozac from the garden. And so I had some, and it was not uplifting for me, but the body pain was great. It took care of like all the aches and pains. I have some arthritic issues and a couple of, I have scoliosis. So I have like a curvature in my spine and my hip goes out to the side. And so that's why I use cannabis.
She's curvy.
Well, they tell me it's my swag. You got the coolest swag when you walk. And I'm like, honey, it's scoliosis. I got like one leg that's longer than the other, so I have to like put a platform. You know, you ever seen that show in Living Color? Was it Mr. McAfee with the megaphone? Aaron's over here going, I know what you're talking about. And I'm like, dude, we all had a McAfee in school. You know, we had a principal like that. You know, and yeah, because he had like one leg that's longer than the other in the way he walks. Okay, I'm pointing at him and he's laughing, but it's a real laughter. It's not the pointed laughter.
It's not a fake, it's a real
Yeah.
one.
So I'm Mrs. McAfee, okay? You know, but I'm not as weird as he was, but I walk weird.
Oh, I can
So-
tell you some stories about some principals I had.
Oh,
They were.
but you know, people say, well, why do you use cannabis products? And I said, because, what are those things called?
Cannabinoids?
Not cannabis, Motrin and ibuprofen.
Oh, your NSAIDs.
NSAIDs rip my
Yeah.
stomach up. I have a history of Barrett's, so I can't, you know, I have to be very mindful of that. And then, you know, who wants to take opioids on a daily basis?
Nobody.
I don't know about you, but they make me feel like crap. So, cannabis.
I've known a few people that have been addicted too. And
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
is
You know,
that's
and
life
yeah,
altering.
it is.
Not worth it.
And I'm like, give
Not
me
worth it.
cannabis or I'll stay in pain.
Mhm.
And cannabis was the one way that I could be pain-free and still function and still think
Mhm.
and not hate myself. because that's what pharmaceuticals do to me. They really depress my emotions and I mean depress them. Even, they'll go, Reglan does that to you? And I'm like, Reglan does that to me.
Well, and I think it's not just the physical effects of the medication. For me, it was that constant reminder every time I took that prescription medicine.
I'm a slave to a pill.
It was like, I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life. This is my life. I don't like
So
it.
you know where to come tomorrow?
Yes.
All righty.
Yes, indeed.
It was fun. You got to get in there good.
Enjoy.
Thank you for stopping by the Breakfast Show.
Thank you for having me.
And he was hoping that he was
Anytime.
going to be grub. And I'm like, oh, dude. We used to grub, and then we would just watched ourselves eat for an hour, and that was like unattractive.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't good.
It was good food, though.
It was
I don't
good
want to lie.
See you tomorrow.
All right, peace.
No, to me it was just a constant reminder of, I'm dealing with chronic stuff, and that in and of itself is depressing.
Oh,
You know?
exactly.
It was just too much. And so when I started using cannabis 2 years ago, I was using under a doctor's supervision. The first time I'd ever used it in my life, not even as a
She didn't
teenager.
say which doctor it was. It was the witch doctor. Well, let's just tell the truth.
I know it's a chiropractor, but anyway,
Yeah.
he's the one that taught me and helped me figure it out and how to use it. So.
Imagine your MD coming up, Alyeen, let's smoke some cannabis together.
Right. But I was like, for a while, because I had just had the same stuff that I was using constantly. I will never forget the day that you offered me something. I'm like, oh man, I probably can't do what you do because you've been doing this forever, and I'm a lightweight. And you're like, you're using Crackle. That's the strongest stuff there is. And I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
No idea.
I'm over there going, I never do that
No
shit.
idea.
I was like, it makes me angry.
Does it? The
Yes,
Crackle?
yes.
Does it so strong, really?
My son,
So-
my sons work at a dispensary, so they'll like, hey, try this, and I'm like, this is a sativa, motherfucker.
And I was just like, when I started replacing the pain medications with the cannabis, I was like bebopping and happy and just having a grand old time because and I was only using it at night before I went to bed. But I'd wake up the next morning very rested and feeling
rested, good, focused.
good. I actually lost weight. I lost weight.
And
And then I kind of got out of the habit of using it all the time because I'm like, oh, I'm good. And so I'd go several days and not use anything. And then I was regretting it.
dang it,
So-
where's that weed?
I have like a hair that is like stuck on an eyelash or something. So if y'all see me like, I'm not like tweaking, okay?
Oh, I had that last night
It's
when I was
making
doing
me
a video.
crazy.
I had a hair that was doing something, and I'm
It's
like,
making me crazy
oh
because
God, I
every
can't
time
stand
I
this.
blink, it's like there. Okay, think about it.
But yeah, no, those things are, but I was like, what people forget is that cannabis goes in and it hijacks that nerve, the nerve that's out of balance, and it just hijacks it.
Yeah.
And it allows it to rest for that period of time, and then as it wears off, it either goes back or it's relieved
Yeah.
due to the rest on it. And whereas in your other medications, and then it goes in and the metabolites sit in the liver. That's why I'm like, do a detox. Do ionic foot detoxes if you're using cannabis, and clear your metabolites so that if you're doing like one dose, whether it's a joint, an edible, or crackly dabbly do, or whatever that stuff is.
Crackly dabbly do.
Whatever that stuff is.
Okay.
So if you're noticing that you're having to use more of your cannabis product in order to achieve the efficacy or the high or the relief or whatever you want to call it, then you're building up too many metabolites in your liver and your fat cells, and it's time to clear that. And people go, well, do I have to quit smoking cannabis to do the foot detox? No. You don't have to quit smoking cannabis or using cannabis. We can still go ahead and do the foot detox and get it all nicely cleared out. Lower those metabolites so that you don't have to use so much product. I mean, that stuff's not cheap.
It's not.
It's not
cheap.
unless you grow it yourself.
In the foot detoxes, there's something you can do on a regular basis. So if we're looking at going daily, make sure you're drinking plenty of lemon water.
Mm-hmm.
Getting plenty of, when you're drinking your glass of water, put some lemon juice in it, because that helps clean the liver. And then at least, they say once a season, they say every season. Big spring cleaning. If you're going to spring clean your house, spring clean your body.
Oh, I like that.
And let's do a deeper detox in the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really clean out the liver, clean out the body, and then you're going to use those constituents even more effectively.
Yeah. I was sitting there going, I said, we need to talk about what our, I was like, no, I'm not going to tell you my secrets.
No, that's
But detox.
detox is
But
a
no,
secret.
we actually have a formula for how often you would detox, and if you've never detoxed, how often or how many detoxes would you do, and then you go to every season. And I'm like, every season, don't you change the oil in your car? And some of you are like, you're supposed to change the oil in your car,
Mhm.
and I'm like, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's like when you change the oil in your car, which you're supposed to do every season, then you do your ionic foot detox the same week.
Mhm. Mhm. If you're getting your oil changed, it's time to do ionic foot detox.
Exactly.
And I'm going to take it a step further and say, if you're getting your oil changed, it's time to come in, do an ionic detox, and buy your herbal detox, and start taking it.
Yeah, because that's what you're going to be doing in between. You just really want to keep your liver really clean, no matter what medication that you're using. Okay, most medications are going to filter out through the liver, and that liver is a big old filter, and it can get diseased. And people, if you have a lot of anger issues, we got dirty livers.
Yep.
Come see me. Let's fix your liver.
Fix
Let's
it.
get you into a good
The
harmony.
other thing is, if you don't use cannabis and you don't drink and you're not taking any medications, the liver is the filtering system for our hormones as well. And so if your liver is backed up because of hormone imbalances, then detoxing is going to help clean that up so that the liver can work more effectively. Not saying it'll balance your hormones, I'm saying it'll work more effectively so that hopefully your hormones will do the jobs that they're meant to
You
do.
want your body to naturally do as much on its own as it
Exactly.
can. And
So-
and you think about all of the crap, and I'm going to use the word crap, that we put into our body, from sodas, I love sodas,
Me
to
too.
fast food, I love fast food, to cakes and pies and fried chicken and egg rolls and French fries, shit, everything I eat. We put all this stuff into our body. Now, I do eat vegetables, okay, the fried, but I still eat them.
Sushi's good for you.
Sushi.
You can do the California rolls. If you're going to do fast food, go stop at a sushi bar.
As long as it's not
Well.
gas station sushi.
No, not gas station sushi. No.
Yeah, that's a scare me sushi. Scare me
Ugh.
sushi. Scare me sushi.
A cerami sushi.
Yeah, scare me sushi. What is that? A sushi Italian style. We roll it in the pasta instead of the seaweed, or basil. They roll it in basil leaves. I can do that, I can do Italian, I can do Italian sushi. I can do Mexican sushi. We roll it in cilantro.
Or banana leaves.
Or banana leaves.
Well, those would be Polynesian more like.
Okay, and I'll just say this. Lotus Gold has this papaya rolled blunt. That's really good. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like,
Is it rolled in papaya leaves?
yes.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. They open at 10.
And I'm broke.
I'm not.
Papaya leaves.
Yeah.
Serious.
they-
And I'm like all into the rose petal.
And that tasted a little weird.
The rose petal one?
Yeah,
to
the
you?
papaya leaves didn't bother me. It was like smoking a cigar.
Really?
Yeah. And I
Interesting.
like Macanudo cigars, so.
Okay.
Macanudos, you can send me one. I'm going to start asking for things like Macanudo cigars.
I say you just hit the stars and send us money.
Actually, yes. Yeah, because remember, when you hit the stars on our videos. So you purchase the stars. I think I got a
haven't-
link on my other
I
Facebook
haven't
page.
figured out how to do that yet.
You get the stars, and then if you like what we're producing, what we're creating, you award us with stars, and then we get the stars, and then Facebook or sends us a check. It sends me a check or sends a check, and we take that money and we buy things like Microphones.
And a camera,
Hello,
which I
hello.
took home
the
to figure out how to
camera.
use, and I haven't done that yet. so,
She's like, she needs to like video herself making those things for YouTube, talking about Betty Crocker it.
Betty Crocker.
And it allows us to buy supplies, things that we need, like microphones, or if we need SD cards for the camera.
Which we do right now, so send us an SD card or something.
Yeah, she needs an SD card. I wanted a Macanudo cigar. Okay, I'm gonna just keep it real.
She's just keeping it real over here, and I'm just like, we need
I want a cigar.
equipment.
I need a cigar. I just want a cigar. I'm not gonna smoke it. I just want to hold it.
So some of the things that we're wanting to do, we need a cart, like a wheeled cooking cart. You know what I'm talking about, the butcher block carts. So we have a place to cook and stuff and video.
Well,
while we're
also
doing it.
to move because we're actually closing down the detox room, and they're going. You guys aren't doing detoxes anymore.
No, we're still doing them.
We're going to do them as private sessions in our room. We used to do like parties and groups, and with COVID-19, we just decided that we weren't going to do that anymore, especially since I guess there's a second wave or whatever.
Who knows?
I'm like, it's the winter time. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So we're doing private sessions only on the COVID or on the ionic foot detoxes. So with that in mind, we take the cart and we'll just go, you'll have a cart and take it to your room and your personal treatment room and work with your client in there instead of having like the open detox room. But then that means the open detox room becomes our little boutique.
Yes, and we're very excited about that.
So yeah, lots of groovy things coming up through there.
When are we planning on having like our little grand opening on our boutique?
Ding, 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 ding. Maybe like the 9th or something.
Okay, that works.
Oh wait, that's the day I have a class. We could do it after. We could do it the night before. Okay, so we'll post up our grand, and remember, please wear your mask when you come into the building.
Yep.
I'm not so stringent once we're in session, but yes, we are requiring that people wear their mask. We do require that you wash your hands.
Wash your hands?
I'm like, I eagle eye that. Like, they were in the bathroom, they didn't wash their hands. I'm like, there's like 4 signs in there in the bathroom that say, wash your hands. But no,
Wash
we
your
are,
hands.
people ask, and I said, we've always been mindful of the COVID and mindful in our practice. I personally used to have like a 15-minute gap, maybe, between clients, and now I have like a 30-minute gap. And I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, I love that gap. Don't come early.
Right.
I enjoy that little break in between my
I
clients.
made myself a spray to spray the room in between
Oh yeah.
people so that
So
we can
so
do,
with that in mind, so I have a paint pour workshop coming up, and that is on January 9th. It's $25. It covers your canvas, your paints, your Floetrol, your little varnishy stuff. If that's what you want to spray on it, I don't spray it on all of my paintings. Acrylic pour painting, and we're working on releasing emotions. So the technique, you're gonna love this, the technique that we're gonna use in this particular workshop is called a dirty pour.
I love it.
And so we're going to be using a dirty pour technique in order to clear some negative emotions that we have and take those negative emotions and make them into something really beautiful on that canvas. So I'm so excited. I hope you'll join me. Space is limited. There's only X amount of seats, and I've already sold 1 ticket yesterday. I was so excited. I'm like, yay, they're helping me make it a reality. wear clothes that you'll get paint on, or wear your apron, your big shirt, whatever you like to wear when you're being creative. I wear an apron. I love my apron. And let's paint. And then the next little workshop coming up after that, we are going to be making our own rune stones.
Those are so cool looking.
Woo, they're
too.
so
I can't wait.
cool. Oh yeah.
And so I have a workshop scheduled in February
Okay.
for another Kintsugi class,
I
and
love that.
we've decided to do. I actually had a marriage counselor reach out to me the last time I did it.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know how she saw it, but she saw it, and she was all excited about it. And she's like, "I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not going to make it. Will you please let me know when you schedule another one?" And so before I scheduled it, I just reached back out to her and said, "Hey, I'm ready to schedule another one. When's a good time for you so you can make sure you can come?" But she's advertising it to her clients.
Excellent.
And so we're going to do another Kintsugi class. It'll be in February, right around Valentine's Day. I don't remember the exact date, but plan on a date night.
Okay, so
For that one.
for people who don't know what that is,
Oh
what
yeah,
is
we didn't
it?
explain that, huh? So kintsugi is when you take, here, I have one over here. I think it's Japanese.
It is Japanese.
It's Japanese, right? It's kind of dirty, but it's okay. So they take their broken pottery and their dishes and they send them to a kintsugi artist, which we're not going to do it the way they do it because it takes a long, long time.
We're doing
And they
the
actually-
YouTube version.
We're doing the YouTube version. They take their dishes and they put them back together with gold, actual gold. I got to get right here. So we use epoxy glue and gold leafing paint to paint them. So you're going to break a bowl or a plate, and then we're going to glue it back together. So you're letting go, you're releasing the negative energy and turning it back into something positive. So the whole idea is that the scars in your life can be beautiful too.
So a lot of cool groovy things. You know, healing doesn't have to be just talk therapy. It's not always about
Nope.
laying on a table. A lot of times our true healing comes when we are proactive and interactive in that action of releasing or filling that space. So as you know, the paint pour technique that we're going to be using is the dirty pour, and it is allowing us to release our emotions on that canvas and then create something beautiful from that. Kintsugi, is it
Kintsugi.
Kintsugi?
I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. That's how it's spelled, so whatever.
Allows us to take pieces of us that are broken
And put it back together.
and put it back together again, and then actually enhance it with gold. And so that increases the value of that particular piece. And aren't we all just a little bit of a piece? You know, when you think about it,
I am a piece of work.
Yeah, a piece of work, you know.
I am definitely a piece of work.
When you start looking at things from those perspectives, it's like, wow. So out of something really negative or really dirty or really ugly or whatever that experience or emotion or feeling or whatever is, we can create something beautiful. And that is what 2021 is it's time to create something beautiful.
Yeah. We should do some more paint classes too.
Oh, I
Some
will.
like, you know what I'm talking about, the wine and palette classes or the drink and palette classes. We should do some
Actually,
more of
I'll
those
be
this
having
weekend.
snacks, wink, 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 at my party or at my workshop available, you know, like not for sale, but for half. So you're welcome to bring snacks in if you would like. Edibles concentrates.
Listen to her.
No flour. We're not allowed to have flour in the building.
Right.
I'm just. 2021 is about expressing yourself.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly, but doing it in a creative, conducive, healing, healthy way. So goodbye 2020.
That's right. See you later.
As my daddy used to say, don't let it hit you in the butt on the way out. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out.
There you go.
All right, so goodbye 2020. I'm glad you are almost out the door. I will never forget the experience of 2020 as it continues to motivate me to learn and grow.
Love it.
All right.
Beautiful thing.
Anything you want to add into there, little sister?
I don't think so.
All right, so next week we're going to be in a different studio doing some really cool, groovy things. I know you're going to dig it because I'm like digging it.
I'm excited.
I am too, and I've got to
I'm
like go
excited.
over there and clean all the beads off the table.
Uh-oh.
So we're signing off because I got work to do. Peace, love, and harmony. I hope
We'll
to.
see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you very soon. Make an appointment.
Man,
Let's do a
come see
virtual
us.
session.
Yeah.
I love the virtual sessions. Those are fun. And I have them on sale on Tuesdays. Just saying.